Good afternoon. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. Today's topic is when should I expect visa issuance after administrative processing? Folks, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I'm here to help solve your immigration problem, point you in the right direction, even if it's to prevent a problem happening in the first place. Apologize for the delay. Just finished up a team meeting to see how we can help you get your case moving along. So I appreciate y'all's patience. I see there are several questions out here. So happy to answer it, but let's get to answering the main question of the day. And unfortunately, this is something that a lot of callers are very concerned about. That and thanks for joining us on YouTube and Instagram. If you appreciate the way we share information out there in the community, I know it's a little bit different these days with social media and the pandemic, but smash the like button and the hearts, please. I greatly appreciate it. That can help, push this video out to more people who need it. And for example, after you have the interview, they might send you a 221G notice by email, and you're probably wondering, why the hell am I getting this letter? Because the visa officer didn't say anything, didn't have any questions for me at the interview. So it's very strange that this is happening, right? I acknowledge it can be very, very frustrating. So here's the deal. This is what most people do that we've talked to on the consultation call. Okay. And that is that they actually respond and provide all the documents necessary, which most of the time it's just like one document. And that is that wretched form DS 5535. And I think it's really ridiculous. I have talked about that the other day. DS 5535. We've started asking clients to fill out this form before they go to interview as a precaution, because most people don't get any indication at the visa interview that your case is going to get delayed. And again, I talk about this all the time. It's not like a pizza tracker where you can see the case moving along the different steps, or the pizza going down the different steps of the process, right, for pickup or delivery. In this situation, freaking pick up the visa. What's taking so long? For example, a success story actually is that I don't know why my voice always cracks when I go live. So, anyways, success story. We just got just right before Thanksgiving, at least a week before Thanksgiving, after we sued the government. It took about a month. Cannot promise for any other client, by the way. It's just different processing times, of course, or outcome that we can receive after suing the government. And so after about a month, we got a call from the U.S. attorney saying, "Hey, by the way, your client's is issued out." And of course, issued, the client was able to pick up the visa yet, right? Still need to go literally get the email from the consular embassy saying that your visa is ready to pick up. And it's been about 3 weeks, I believe. So what we do in that scenario, and that is we contact the U.S. attorney again, say, "Look, what's going on?" And they try to figure it out for us. And they're also frustrated because, I mean, they want to help to the extent that they can help us get the visa issued, right, or the RFE, or the approval of the green card in general. But they don't control the whole process. They're like, even though it's we have to sue them, you would think that they're adversary by nature, but at the same time, they really want to focus their time on these like white collar crimes, like the former president from a couple years ago. So they want to focus on those cases. Okay, at the end of the day, they want to get their name out for those cases. They don't want to get their name out in front of a judge to be known as the person who helps with cases for immigration cases. They do what they can. So at the same time, as for us as attorneys, any information we can provide to help speed along the processing of visa issuance or any kind of outcome on your case is greatly helpful to everyone involved. All right. So, for example, if you're stuck in administrative processing, you really preferably have a updated job offer letter. And so I know some of y'all are not able to obtain that. But you want to, what we try to do as a legal team here at Team Law Group, we try to think of solutions outside the box. So even though you may not normally receive a job offer letter, really it's only like one or two sentences. Like so and so is, has applied for a visa because he or she is waiting for, um, you know, just trying to start employment at my company, for example, or, if it's the HR department writing this letter, something, okay? Like, and they could write the second sentence could say something like, no, this job offer stands up until like, I don't know, 6 months later, right? Something like that. And that way you don't always have to get an updated letter by the time the freaking consulate embassy responds to you. So this is just one hot tip that you can do without getting a lawyer involved. I hate to say, you probably still need to get a lawyer involved that handles mandamus, federal action lawsuits. But anything we can do to help you save money, and overall, that's what we want to do. We want to help you get legal status, okay? Because filing lawsuit is expensive. Um, and some of y'all don't have a lawyer for your first, like your actual case, and I get it. But at this point, if you already waited, a lot of people that call us, they wait. Ooh, you shouldn't wait this long, but at like a year at least. And I think there's a bad assumption, unfortunately, that the government is going to take action on your case to give you the visa, send you an email about it, or even say give you an update. They don't even give updates. You email them, they don't give updates. It's just a standard response. So it's frustrating. I get it. So that's why we're on YouTube and Instagram Live, to share with you that you're not the only one, but there's also a way to take action. So, folks, at least on YouTube, you can see that. If I can find it here. Okay. We do offer on our website. Okay, I can move it along. On our website, there's a new angle. On our website, a free guide. Okay. Let me change it up. There we go. Let point that way. Okay. They switched up the mirroring here. Okay. Anyways, there's a free guide on our website, greencardguys.com, and you can download that free guide. And we're getting that updated into Spanish as well. But for those folks, for English speakers, we have that on greencardguys.com. Scroll all the way down, and it contains common questions with answers with an estimated step by step. So it's not just for delay cases or cases that have been delayed, but also for family based cases like the original case itself, employment pathways to the US. Okay. A huge problem that we want to prevent you from getting yourself involved into this is, number one, don't ever rely on an immigration application. Don't ever, for example, don't mark that check mark or write in that you have a spouse when you're not actually married. Don't ever do that. Please don't, because that really makes it difficult. There is a way to apply for a waiver, but it's just not worth it. Okay. You might not even qualify or be eligible to apply for a waiver. Okay. So if you think that you shouldn't do something, it's good enough. If your gut tells you not to do it, just don't do it. Okay, that's my tip on that part. I have a lot of tips. Here to answer some questions on Instagram first. Let's see here. Francis, thanks for your question. Please, how long does it take NVC to process your spousal visa? That's a great question. They're all great questions here, and I appreciate the questions. Okay, so you already know about the petition. That's been completed for you. Now, how long does it take NVC to do the next step? Think of it as teamwork. Okay, so number one, you need to wait about a month, 20 days to a month to get the NVC case number. Okay, we generally call it like the welcome letter, but it's by email now these days. So case number also usually comes with invoice number. And that is because you need to enter the system, ceac.state.gov, type in the case number, and you also provide the invoice number because they want your money. Okay, they want your fees, and that's the frustrating part. You're paying for all these applications, but then your case not moving along. So anyway, 20 days to about a month for the case number. If you don't receive it by then, there's a National Visa Center website or travel.state.gov website has a box where you can inquire to request that new case number. Of course, you would give them the receipt notice number for your petition. Okay, so it's kind of some way to track it. And then after that, you're going to have to upload documents to the MVC database. Okay, the cac.state.gov website. And I would say it takes about, based on our case experience, at least 30 days for them to send you some kind of email, some kind of notice in your email inbox that says documentarily qualified. You're in queue for the interview. And then you might look at that email, you might think, oh, that's freaking amazing. That didn't take long. They accepted all my documents and I'm in queue for interview. Well, don't get your hopes up on that one. Okay, it's probably going to take another, I would say, average minimum 6 months. If you get it sooner, great, happy for you. But you should have the expectation it will take longer than just a couple months for the interview. Now, fortunately, success story, we just got a fiance visa applicant, the petition approved maybe about 2 months ago by now. And then we uploaded all the documents perfectly. Fortunately, we had all the documents necessary. And then maybe about 2 weeks later, I believe, he was scheduled for the fiance visa interview. And I know fiance visas are prioritized low priority for the government for the interview. So that's great to see it. Get him scheduled as soon as possible. Because before the pandemic, you used to be able to schedule it on your own, on ourselves. Okay, we entered the database, ustraveldocs.com or AIS. Okay, but fortunately, he was able to get scheduled. So hopefully that answers your question. And then this is where you come into the situation of you have the interview itself, and then you might get stuck in administrative processing. So yeah, today's topic was more about the very, very last step. Okay, Francis. So hopefully that helps give you some more context on the situation. All right, what's up? What's up? Let me answer another question, Instagram, then I'll switch over to YouTube questions. Sri Khan, how much time is taking for I-130? Brothers and sisters from India. Oh, that's a great question. That's freaking taking forever. But let's check it out for y'all. Okay, processing times like at least on YouTube, I can share my screen on that. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so I just Google search USCIS processing times, and then, but yeah, you're concerned about the petition itself. Now, I wouldn't be too concerned about how long it's taking for the petition to be approved, because for family preference cases like F4 for siblings, because we already know that it's going to take a long time for the prior date to show up on the visa bulletin. And I know it's strange, but the longer it takes for the petition to process is actually better for in terms of like your siblings, your beneficiary abroad have children. Okay, so we call it derivative children. Okay, let's see here. So on YouTube, you can't see it on YouTube when I click on the drop down form category, but there is an option to select U.S. citizen filing for brother or sister. They have all the service center options on. So let's just pick California Service Center, which, by the way, folks, when you get the receipt notice 797C on the top right, it'll say that all the notices, by the way, on paper are 797C. But when you get that notice of receipt, it will have in the top middle a priority date. So that's very key. Now, don't freak out when I say how long this is taking at California Service Center. But they say 80% of cases are completed within 140.5 months. So what is that? 12 by divide by 12. If my math is correct, that's at least 10 years. Okay, so that is frustrating. I get it. And also depends on the visa bulletin. So for folks that are nationals of India or China or Philippines, Mexico, yeah, it's going to take a much longer time. But even if you're not from those countries, or your beneficiary is not from those countries. I'm showing on YouTube here. I'm going to select December 2022. Sorry, Instagram folks, it's hard to see. Share it via here. Scroll all the way down. The family sponsored preferences. Oh, Sri Khan, you passed 10 years. My goodness. Okay, well, you can see at least on YouTube the F4 category, and I'm highlighting here. I don't know if it shows it when I highlight it on the screen. Yeah, it does. Okay, so for India, chart B for F4 shows February 22nd, 2006. So what is that? We're in 2022. So yeah, you have quite a way. If your priority date is at least 10 years ago, that'd be what, 2012. So you have roughly about 6 years, but you just never know. This is why it's very important. If you're sorry, if you're the sponsor, petitioner, or you're the beneficiary abroad outside America, you need to keep track of this every freaking year. Okay, because we do receive calls that people already waited 10 plus years, and then they're like they just had a feeling. They hadn't checked in a couple years, but they just had a feeling it could pop up now, the prior date on the visa bulletin. And we check, and it's past their prior date is like, it's been 1 year past the prior date. And that's a 1 year rule. You got to take action within 1 year. Okay. And you might think, well, how come I didn't receive an email from the government or a welcome letter, like a physical letter? You likely have received it. It's just maybe not you. It's maybe the sponsor, and maybe it went into their inbox, but the spam or promotion box in their Gmail account or something. So you really have to keep track for yourself. Don't assume. Don't assume like your Uncle Bob is like always on top of it for you, okay, keeping track of everything for you. I'm sure Uncle Bob has a lot of like things that they gotta keep track of on their own personal life. Okay. So that's why, folks, it's very important that y'all keep track. And what I would do, here's a pro tip with technology these days, is it does not matter which country you're located at. Use Google Calendar, use your calendar of choice, and put it as a reminder to check every year. And of course, when a prior date gets closer and closer, check every 6 months, check every month. Okay. Do that for yourself, because you don't want to get stuck in a situation you got to start over. Okay. That would be very sad. Okay. Very, very unfortunate. Whew, that was a lot of hot tips right there. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Well, I see several questions on Instagram, but I want to switch over and give YouTube some love. Yeah, yeah, Marlon. 140 months is 12 years. Yeah, for sure. I was just trying to give do some quick math. Appreciate it, Marlon. Anu, nice to see you here. You got some questions today. Happy to see if I can help you. Okay, you say that your ex-husband added you to his I-140 as a dependent. You could have filed your own GC for EB2 perm adjustment through your employer using his prior date. Yes, that's possible. What we call a cross chargeability date. His date got current 1.5 years ago. Okay, well, unfortunately though, because you say ex-husband, you're not married anymore, so you can't like cross over to his prior date. Your next question is, does a countrywide cap on green card include GC through asylum, U visa, or family based? Yeah, there's caps on, they call it visas in terms of the visa bulletin. But of course, the visa will ultimately turn into resident status. But yeah, there's caps on every type. Yeah, because even U visa has a 10,000 visas issued per fiscal year. Let's see what else. VAWA, that's a great question. Let me check VAWA. VAWA, for some reason, falls under the employment-based section. So I'm trying to see here. I would have to check that for VAWA, but I don't. Interesting. I don't believe so for VAWA. Well, to some extent, there is a limitation, not specific to VAWA itself, but about they have for the EB4, VAWA falls under that in terms of residency. That's 7.1% worldwide of all visas issued. So there are limitations for each category, but which is set by Congress, unfortunately, because I say unfortunately because Congress doesn't agree on anything, so it's hard to get anything passed, even for these changes that people are asking about. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Anu. Appreciate it. Kwai Wong, let's see. You came to USA with B1, B2 visa in 2006 and overstayed till now. Am I eligible to apply for SSI for employment? I don't think that's how it works. I know like long time ago, people who are don't have any status, I believe, were able to get some kind of social security number legally the correct way, but now that's not the case. So that's something to consider. Okay, I don't. Um, yeah, if you don't have a social number, then maybe the assumption is that you do have one. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, Marlon, what's up? Thank you for joining. Ivan. Hello. Is it true that you are overstay more than 18 months that you cannot adjust status through employment if you are TPS holder now? This is a big question. Love to answer it to the best of my ability. So for family based, let me give you the difference. For family based cases, you can overstay. I'm not trying to encourage anyone as a lawyer to overstay, but if you have an immediate relative relationship, the most common one is married to a U.S. citizen, not married to a resident. That's different. That's called family preference. But if you have an immediate relative relationship, then if you overstayed your visa, okay, and your most recent entry was with a visa, then yes, you can apply to get status and stay here in America, okay, to get that status, the green card. However, here's the contrast. For employment-based cases, yes, you can have employer sponsor you, get that started. They don't ask the questions about did you overstay your visa? How long have you overstayed? Did you enter without a visa? They don't ask those questions probably in the first half of your employment case. So that's why our team, we ask these questions in advance because we need to know how many days have you overstayed up until maybe you even got of unlawful presence up until the time you got TPS, for example. So 240, here's some legal talk, 245K. Okay, it's part of the immigration law. You're only allowed 180 days of unlawful presence and that allows you to still get residency through employment. 180 days. What is that, Marlon? How's my math? Is it 5 months more or less? So I hope it's 5 months. Yeah, that's it. 5 months times 30 days, more or less. Yeah, 180 days. Okay, Marlon. I hope that's right. And so it's not 18 months. I'm not sure where you got that, but I'm always curious. If you have that link, drop it in the comments, and we're happy to take a look for you. Now let's see here. So yeah, if you can, and folks, for those who are not familiar with the terms, adjust status means getting the green card while in America. You don't have to leave. The other version is consular processing, meaning you have to have your case processed, have your interview outside America. Okay, that's why they used consular. So that's not easily, I guess, explained on these websites or even my website. I need to update my own website. So hopefully that helps, Ivan. And let's see. So yeah, Ivan, you might still be possible to get a green card, but consular processing. And then even before then, the next level consideration is if you do have unlawful presence before you got TPS, or even if someone else does DACA, because those two things stop unlawful presence, then you might want to consider how long you've been in unlawful presence, okay, before that time. And then check with a lawyer if you're eligible for a waiver, okay, 601A waiver, which every time we ask that question in consultation, most people don't have that relationship. You need to have a parent or spouse who's a resident or U.S. citizen. So most people don't have that when they call in. And understandable, because if they did, then maybe the parent or spouse could just file for them, right? And not go through this whole long process with it through employment. All right, Anu to ask. So hopefully it helps, Ivan. Okay, I see your follow-up comment. Sorry to hear that. Okay, yeah, in between the TPS approval. Anu, this is a great question as well. You're wondering why is H-1B or green card based on H-1B or EB-2, EB-3 so backed up? And that is because, let me share my screen, because employment-based preference here on the YouTube screen, EB2 right here and EB3, they have limitation. They're both the same, actually, 28.6% for both of all visas issued. All right, so of employment-based. So yeah, it's very frustrating. And then the other reason is because many people apply from certain countries. So that's why it's backed up even more. Makan. Okay. What is a matter of SOH and MDB? Well, I haven't done this before, but I'm happy to see if I can pull it up real quick. Matter of H&M. That sounds like that retail store. DB. Let's see if I can pull it up. It actually just went straight to H&M website. So I'm not sure if that's the correct citation, the way you provided it. Oh, SOH&M. Okay, let me see if that pops up. SO. Oh, let me, I typed it wrong. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, I don't see it popped up. So if you can drop a link in the comment section, that'd help, and I can see if I can work through it real quick for you guys. Okay, in the meantime, Anu, is family based and VAWA adding up to green card cap because HB arriving every year is fixed at 80K. Yeah, so H-1B is different. That's the actual temporary non-immigrant visa, not related to green card itself. So people who have H-1B visa right now and apply for residency, or the company sponsors them, that'd be through EB-2 or EB-3. Okay, for example, just depends on the country of nationality. So hopefully that helps. It just depends if it's non-immigrant visa or not, essentially, or for residency. Immigrant visa is AKA for residency for a green card. Marlon, you asked, why is Sir John? Oh, that's very honorable. Thank you very much. Why is AOS slower than immigrant visa process these days? And I think you mean immigrant process, meaning like abroad consular processing. And yeah, it really depends on the consulate or embassy, to some extent, for the last part of it. Okay, and also for AOS, it may depend on where you live in the country, where your case is located, because like certain cities like New York City, San Francisco, or LA, they'll have longer processing or longer times to get your case scheduled, right? With more people living in that area than maybe like New Orleans. But the thing with New Orleans, Louisiana, that field office covers a lot of different territories. So even though back when I recall one of our last clients, they got approved 6 months out of New Orleans. But just depends on a jurisdiction, is what we call it. Depends on where you live, or where your case is filed, or where your case moves along the process. Okay, 6 months. Okay, Marlon, yours took 6 months. That's pretty good if that's the case. All right. Well, let me get to some questions back on Instagram. Absolutely, Anu. Happy to help. Let's see here. What's going on? Well, hey, by the way, folks, if you're new to a channel, you might not know this. We do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion, okay, consultation. See if we can point you in the right direction. Of course, we'll love to offer some help and help you represent you on the case. But if you just have a question, YouTube, or point you in the right direction. You're welcome to fill out a form on greencardguys.com or just join us on a live show. I'm going to be more intentional for probably Tuesdays and Thursdays to have it more of a like you could join the studio. So if you're interested in that, we're going to come up with that soon, probably starting this Thursday, where you can join the studio at least on YouTube. So if you're on Instagram and you want to join the studio and ask more questions about your own case, you're welcome to do that because we're going to provide the link on the YouTube side of things or Facebook as well. But on Instagram, it's a bit more complicated. At least maybe it's not. And I'm just trying to learn. Oh, right. Thanks, Marlon. 100. How many days is 100? How many months is 180 days? Okay, six. Yeah, 6 months. Okay, so that's why. Yeah. Otherwise, 5 months is 150 days. Oh man, I really need to go back to school for algebra or something. 6 months. Yeah, appreciate it, Marlon. Faisal, let's see here. Faisal, thank you. I'm doing well. How are you doing, sir? Your application returned to NBC for revocation. Faisal, thank you. I do recognize your name from from the form that you filled out. But folks, this is a good example. I believe Faisal's been waiting at least a year, and I don't want to go into full detail about his case unless he wants to. But uh, he already had an interview, or his family members had the interview already, and the case is getting sent back to NVC for revocation. So you really got to take action before they actually decide on the revocation, because if they actually revoke it, it makes it more difficult to revive your situation to get that visa issued. Okay, so you really need to take action. Okay, Faisal. So a lot of people call us, and then whether it's with our cares team or with one of our attorneys, esteemed lawyers, but if you don't take action, then I don't know how else we can help you. Okay. So Faisal, you know what to do. Okay. Because I know that the government, unfortunately, is not going to answer your questions, is not going to answer your emails. Okay. So the next thing, whether it's with our firm or someone else, you need to file the mandamus lawsuit. Okay. That is really the last step. Okay. To revive your case. Yeah, I see your comment, your follow-up comment, and it is applicant's case has been returned to NVC for revocation. All further inquiry should be directed to NVC. That email is from embassy. Yep, very unfortunate. So you know what action you need to take next, Faisal, and that's the lawsuit. Okay, Faisal. Thank you so much for sharing with the community here on Green Card Guys. Faisal's case has been processing after the interview for 14 months. K1. Okay, K1. And K1, so that means fiance visa. And so we actually just had some clients on K1 fiance visa get their visa recently. Okay. And that was about roughly, depending on the case, it was about 1 or 2 months after we filed the lawsuit. Okay. So I know some of y'all might think, well, is that just a coincidence? Well, would you rather have a more for sure way or just wait and wait and wait 14 months, for example? We've even had people call in and waited like several years. Okay. So if you love each other, you got to take the next action step. Okay. You need to file that lawsuit. I mean, I know you guys do. I know budget, things like that. Maybe you can find a lawyer that charges less, but what we do is we take action. Okay. So when you decide to take action, we take action right along with you. Okay. So our plan, we have different plans for most case types, but for mandamus action lawsuits, if you hire us today and you pick the max plan, we file your lawsuit. We try our best to file a lawsuit in 72 hours. Okay. If you pick the pro plan, we file a lawsuit within 7 days. If you pick the lower plan, light plan, we file up to 30 days. Little secret, we love to sue the government. So we file it sooner than 30 days, but we have to make some, differentiation. Okay. So of course you pick the light plan, pro plan, it's going to be lower price than the max, of course, because we just can't, as my own, operating my own law firm, I have to think about capacity. I can't burn out my own team just because we love to, of course, help push your case along to the next step. Okay, I have to be human. I have to make sure my team we can all can get this done for you guys. And let's see here. Um, looks like Ivan. Looks like Ivan, your question is semi-answered by Marlon. Thanks a lot in the community. But yeah, it can be difficult to make that decision to go back to go back home or not. And for sure, absolutely. And I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but it's difficult. I'm sure it's difficult uh, to go back home. Okay, and a lot of people have so many different reasons. Um, but your question is, your TPS holder, for example, you're a truck driver for a big company, overstay 8 years. If you apply for waiver, they approve. Can I adjust my status through employment? So again, yeah, adjust status. It means that you can applicant getting residency green card in America, and no, you can't, unfortunately. So Marlon is actually correct in that scenario. Happy to help. But yeah, Ivan, you would have to go back for consular processing. And before you do, if you were to do that, if someone else were to do that, you gotta speak with a lawyer to make sure that you're even eligible for a waiver, because not everyone is eligible. It depends on the family relationship. Okay. And when I mean relationship, it doesn't mean you have a good or bad relationship. We're just coming off the holidays, Thanksgiving. So hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving holiday, especially if you're here in America. Time is precious. We really have to enjoy our time with people we want to be close with, which apparently is not always with family. It could be with friends, whoever. Just hope you all find that community for you. So thanks for joining us live here. Let me see if we just crossed. Let me see. We're about to close up the live, but let's see. We're here every day except yesterday. I apologize about that. Thanks for joining us. I see a question on Instagram by AB Samuel. Just want to give some shout out. Thanks for joining us live every time we're on. And AB, you asked, is it okay to get married while waiting for USCIS to respond, approve that K1 petition? So even if the direct answer is yes, you can get married, because even if your petition is approved and you're still stuck in the MVC stage, unfortunately, for better or worse, you can get married, because even if you have the interview later on after you get married, it turns into a K3 visa. Okay, so meaning that you basically follow the same steps when you come to America, and then you apply for adjustment. Okay, but it'd be a K3. But you have to also file I-130, okay, petition based on marriage, and ultimately see which one gets processed faster for the interview. And it doesn't really matter which one was processed faster for the petition, because if you have a petition approved faster for K1 fiance visa, but somehow it's slower, and then all of a sudden you get the interview based on immediate relative, based on marriage, then take that. So this is not a science, unfortunately. It's not streamlined to the way that we think it should be. All right, so let's see. Let's see if I can answer any more questions. If you enjoy the way we share content, please hit the hearts and the like button on your respective platform. And greatly appreciate everyone who has joined live and asked some questions. Again, we're going to go and transition a bit on the show that Tuesdays and Thursdays. I know today's Tuesday, but Tuesdays and Thursdays moving forward, starting this Thursday, you're welcome to join the studio and ask your questions live, because it's maybe easier to get more go through it with you. Okay, so then you don't have to wait for a consultation like a traditional one. I guess this technically is video also, but because we are getting very booked on our consultations with our attorneys, and we greatly appreciate it. But if for some reason our CARES team is not able to schedule you due to our schedule, then you can join us live here, and we're happy to help you. And let's see here. If you know anyone who may be about to start an immigration process a case, or have a unfortunately immigration problem, you're stuck, please share our video in our whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, and bookmark it so you can share with them later. Because we just like the example I shared earlier about checking priority date. That's just one example how a case can get. You might have to start over if you don't take the action at the right time. Okay, folks. So thank you very much. I have so many examples to share to prevent you from going through that problem, and we want to help prevent it. Okay, folks. And by the way, we do have a TikTok channel. There's so many different platforms out there, but apparently I've been told that my team wants me to jiggle. Okay, so let me know how I'm doing out there in Green Card Guys underscore John on TikTok. And until next time, folks, I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.